I want to show you how to handle a couple of the problems that had some fractions in them. These are very doable. They just looked a little different. I'm going to show number one. This is on page 329. There's actually a couple of ways to handle this. Some of you notice that I'm multiplying parentheses by a fraction. You remembered that we did this in the equation unit, and we can multiply both sides by -5/1. The issue is over here there's not just one thing, it's an expression. So you have to put that in parentheses and you have to multiply the whole thing by -5. You can't just choose one of the parts to multiply by -5. So this cancels and I'm left with x minus 5. I multiplied both sides by a negative, right? I multiplied by a negative here and a negative here. So I have to reverse the inequality. Then I'm going to distribute my -5. And I get -5x plus 45. This is nice looking, no problems, no fractions. I'm going to solve. I'm going to add 5x to both sides. I'm going to add 5 to both sides. And I'm going to divide both sides by 6. And I get x is less than 56th. Which simplifies, so I get x is less than 25/3. Now the book gave the answer as 8 1/3. I'm not real crazy about mixed numbers. I would leave it as an improper fraction. I would not go to a decimal. The next way to handle this is by distributing the fraction. It's a little uglier, but you can still get to the right answer. So -1/5 times x is -1/5 x. -1/5 times -5 is +1, greater than x minus 9. Now, I have a variable on both sides, here and here, so I'm going to add 1/5 x to both sides. I get 1 is greater than, now this is a 1, so 1 plus 1/5 is 1 1/5, and then I change that to an improper fraction and I get 6/5. You really don't want mixed numbers in an equation. Bring down your -9. Now this is just a two-step equation. Remember, you want to leave this till the very end. I'm going to add 9 to both sides. I get 10 is greater than 6/5 x. How do I handle a fraction in front of a variable? I multiply both sides by the reciprocal. This cancels and I end up with x is less than, what happens over here? If I put this over 1, I can simplify, what do we get? 3, 5, and I get 25/5, not fifth, third. 25/3. Again, that would go to 8 1/3. Don't want a mixed number. Don't want to go to a decimal because it's not a terminating decimal. Okay, number 2. There are also 2 ways to handle this. I'm going to show you, first of all, the way I think most of you probably tried to handle it. I have a variable on both sides, right? -2y is my smaller one. So I'm going to add 2y to both sides. 1/2 plus 2 is 2.5. And when I change that to an improper fraction, I get 5/2 y. You don't want mixed numbers in equations.
Alden and Aubrey to the car now.
Then we're going to add 8 to both sides. And I get 5/2 y is greater than or equal to 11. This is a fraction in front of a variable, so I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. And cancel, cancel, cancel. Excuse me. Y is greater than or equal to, what is that, 22/5. The book goes to 4 2/5. I don't like mixed numbers there. I'm going to leave it as a fraction. I'm going to show you an alternate way to get rid of this. If you have a fraction in a problem, you can look at the denominator and you can multiply the whole thing, everything, by that denominator. So I'm going to do the whole thing by 2. Basically, you distribute it, so you have to multiply everything by that. So 2 times a half, the 2's cancel, and you're left with y. 2 times negative 8 is minus 16. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4y, and 2 times 3 is 6. Now the fraction's gone. I can solve like normal. And surprise, surprise, I get the same answer I got a minute ago. Okay, 3 is not bad. The answer is still throwing some of you off. Don't let fractional answers scare you. Okay, I look for my smallest variable. I've got the minus 4r. Remember, you want to move your variable first. So we're going to add 4r to both sides. Then I'm going to subtract 10. I'm going to divide both sides by 5. Leave that be, okay? R is greater than or equal to negative 3/5. Now, this is a terminating decimal. It's not the end of the world if you go to a decimal, but leave things as fractions. Quit changing everything to decimals.